You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 19, 2023 meeting of the LaPorte County Council Budget Public Hearing. You can find more information for this hearing by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I call the LaPorte County Council 2024 Budget Public Hearing on October 19, 2023 to order. Would everybody please shut off their cell phones, or at least their ringers? Excuse me. The 2024 Budget Public Hearing by the LaPorte County Council is, let's see, we're going to Pledge of Allegiance first. If everybody please rise. Randy, would you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Rosenbaum.
Present.
Councilman Novak.
Present.
Councilman Karanka.
Present.
Councilman Cunningham. Councilman Cunningham. Councilman Yagowski.
Present, Zoom.
Councilman Keel.
Present.
And Councilman Mullenhour. Councilman Mullenhour. 5 present, 2 absent.
Thank you. We need approval of the October 19th, 2023 agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those, do we need to do a roll call with, it's not money. We don't need to do a roll call. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're going to first take a look at the solid waste 24 budget. Would you be so kind to come on up? And I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you folks know, I'm here just to address any of the public's concerns about our public budget. I'll be back here on the 30th for the adoption part of the budget. I've submitted it to the auditor's office. We submitted it on Gateway, and also President Rosenbaum had asked me to send a copy to him, so everybody should have had a chance to review it.
Shortly after receiving it and taking a quick look at it, I shot it out to all the council members, so we've had access to that for about a month now, I believe, that we've discussed this. And just for the record, the budget estimate is $4,266,140. That's what's on this form. And I was just reading out loud. And one of the things that I know that you have in this year's budget, coming up your budget, is that you had to negotiate your recycling contract. Am I correct?
That's correct, sir.
And in the recycling contract, there was at least a 5% increase for the next year?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's actually going to be a 5% increase for the next 5 years.
5 years, okay. So each year,
It's going to go up 5%.
okay.
And
So,
Councilman Kyle was at the
Keel.
meeting, and he verified all that vigorously with us.
okay. Just, I'm just, that's like, I believe, one of your biggest line items.
That is our largest one.
On your budget, so I want to make sure if we talk about the largest item, everybody understands. Okay.
Do you know off the top of your head what was the percentage increase to your budget this year?
I can tell you that in 1 second here. It is a 10.52% increase. Like you said, 5% of that is automatically with our hauling contract. So the other 5% pays the salaries and all of our 200s and 300s accountants.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And that's based on 5% increase on wages, but we wait to see what you folks give as wages, so that 5% could be lower. Last year was wonderful, but you kind of messed me up by giving it 10%. We only advertised 5%, so we had to do some moving around to get the 10% there.
I believe at the present moment we don't anticipate to do a raise based off of the current finances.
Then that 10% will come down. If there's no further questions, I thank you for your attention. I will see you on the 30th.
We're going to open up for public comment, so if you wouldn't mind staying around in case there are.
Sure.
Thank you very much. We very much appreciate your time. Okay, so we've now had the presentation of the budget, so now we open up the public hearing. Anybody from the public or from Zoom that would wish to speak, if you're on Zoom and wish to speak, please raise your hand. If you're in the audience and you'd like to come up and speak about the solid waste budget, if you would have to come to the microphone, state your name and address.
All right, my name is Bill Newton. My address is 604 Black Oak Drive, Trail Creek. I just have a question. The solid waste budget, is this for the county, excluding Michigan City and excluding LaPorte, or does it include everything?
It's all of LaPorte County.
All of it.
Michigan City, Trail Creek, Long Beach, everybody's included in this.
This is the
So
countywide
lacrosse
recycling
and all
service.
that.
Across
Okay,
Hannah.
all right. That's all I want to know.
Yep.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Last call. Is there anybody else who has any questions regarding the solid waste 2024 budget?
Ralph Malecki, 8251 South, 900 West, Wanata. Solid waste, you're just talking, that includes the recycling?
That is the recycling.
Okay.
We have an educator, it includes our compost site and our electronics collection and our special mobile collections.
Okay.
Could you please come up to the microphone and just repeat what you just said so that we can get it on record? It was excellent, and I just want to make...
Mr. Malecki had asked if solid waste was the recycling, and I said recycling, it's recycling for all of LaPorte County, and we run a compost site. We have an educator on staff that goes to the schools and educates in the different clubs. And we also do 7 mobile collections every year, and we do an electronics collection site, both in LaPorte and Michigan City.
The user fee is funded through the property tax bill.
Yes,
It's
user
funded.
fee that's put on the property tax.
Put on the
bill,
property tax,
collected, yes.
on your property tax bill.
That's $72 a year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else who has a question regarding solid waste 2024 budget? Seeing no one in the audience, seeing no one putting a hand up on Zoom. We close the public hearing on solid waste 2024 budget. It will be voted on to be approved at the October 30th meeting under the new business section. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Excuse me. Don Parker is with us online. We're now moving on to the Wanata Public Library 2024 budget, the presentation of the budget. Just for the record, the total amount of the budget was $85,350 is the estimate. The maximum amount being raised from the tax levy would be $73,250. So there's a little bit of a difference, and it would be great if you could just take a moment and explain how that's going to get covered.
Yes, everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you, members of the council, for taking the time to review this request. I am Don Parker. I'm the director of the Wanata Public Library. And for a very quick little bit of background, we do not propose to raise our revenue stream past the circuit breaker limits this year, but we do propose to raise our expenditures past the circuit breaker limits, which do exist for libraries. About 10 years ago, when the county was going through its realignment versus with property taxes, there was a year where we had to basically wait about a year and a half for our property tax distributions. And so, like a lot of small agencies, we ended up borrowing to cover our operating expenses until we got everything paid to us. And so at that time, our treasurer suggested that we institute a process where for the last 10 years, we've been deliberately saving back and not spending about 10% of the total revenues that we would raise every year in order to build up a reserve. And the reserve has reached a point where we feel like we really don't need to build that up anymore. And there are some things that we want to do with the budget. And so this is simply a request for what I would call a reset. We want to raise our expenditures higher than the than the normal limit would be this year. And then we're going to go back to the normal process in coming years. So like the last gentleman said, I'm mainly here just to answer any questions that anybody would have. I'm traveling, so I can't appear today, but I thank you for your time.
Mr. Parker, could you tell us the percentage increase to your budget this year?
Oh dear, and Justin, in all honesty,
Sorry to pop you with difficult questions, but
yes, I forgot to bring a copy with me as I'm traveling. So it is.
no worries, I can look
want
it
to
up.
say, I want to say about 15%.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the council before we turn it over to the public? Seeing none, I turn this over. Thank you very much for the presentation. Please stay with us. I now open the public hearing. Anybody from the public that wish to ask a question about the Wanata, Public Library 2024 budget, and anybody on Zoom, please raise a hand.
Your 15% figure was spot on.
Thank you.
Hearing none and seeing none, I'm going to close public hearing for the Wanata budget. Okay, we're now moving on to the LaPorte County 2024 budget, the presentation of the budget. This is overall, it's $89,000, $183,675 budget. It is $45,925,646 is to be maximum raised, estimated to be raised from appeals levies and exempt from, and then the current tax levy is the difference of $42 million and change, $42,581,458. This has been posted. It does cover approximately 2 pages of line items of just large categories. The biggest, we get money from public safety lit, which is local income tax. We also have an economic lit, which is also an income tax. We also have in here, the state has been funding us with opioid funds. The state is also funds, bear with me, there's a couple other, part of the public defender, part of the adult probation, and I don't want to get too much off guard with some of the other things as well, but we do have funds that are specifically coming from the state for some of the things. We did apply and are receiving a local health maintenance fund, and that's $1.3 million and $56,548. It should have been official this week, but I haven't seen that. But we had to put it in there in time to get our budget. I could keep listing names and numbers, but I think there was a question earlier about the economic lit was $5,906,999, and $5 million of it immediately goes to the highway, and then we also have an economic department that will take $220,000, and then we have additional salaries. We also found out that our mileage of where we get reimbursed, I believe that the amount of miles has been submitted to the state to correct the number, and that's why it's increased as well. And I'm not sure if it's on that or if it's on the bridge funds.
We also make the Amorisco payment out of there, don't we? Out of the economic lit? I'm pretty sure.
It's
Amorisco, it's the old courthouse bond payment, yes.
Okay. I'm now going to open it up to public comment. Anybody in the public that would like to comment, and if you're on Zoom, please raise a hand.
Can I?
Really difficult to reconcile.
Please come up to the microphone.
While he's coming up, can I add something? Looking at this notice, and to let everyone out here and on Zoom know, but looking at this notice at the top, it says, complete details of budget estimates by fund and/or department may be seen by visiting the office of this unit of government at, and it's posted 809 State Street because that's where our meeting is, but feel free to come to the auditor's office and we can print a detailed list for you.
And that would be 555 Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, Suite 205.
It's across the street. Sir, go ahead.
Jason Fry, 983 Park Avenue. It's just a general question. So earlier you suggested that we go to the Gateway Indiana website, which I'm on, and I'm cross-referencing item 9507, page 5, which is community corrections. It's just one I picked because it was the only one I could find. The dollar values, there doesn't seem to be anything untoward about the kinds of things that are being purchased, but this tool you gave us so that we could find the detail doesn't seem to tally. So is there another way we can do it?
So I actually misspoke earlier. The line item budget isn't made available on Gateway until after the budget is approved. I don't know why the state does it that way, but we're happy to share with you the line item
detail
budget.
is shared after it's voted and signed and sealed.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
However, please.
There's something you want, we can provide it to you. I mean, it's not
To share your email, I'll forward it to you right now.
public information. It's
Sure.
just.
Thank you. Okay.
The
The
councilman
state
just
doesn't
said
publish
if you
it.
share your email, he'll forward it to you right now.
Very good. Okay.
If I could get this printer to work, I would print out. If I could get this printer to work, I would.
Are there any other questions related to LaPorte County 2024 budget?
Can I bring up
Sure.
one thing? I had a meeting with MS4 today, and I don't know if we want to, this is something we want to talk about now at the regular meeting. They're staying within the budget, but they're moving the dollars amount. Is that something you want me to share now, or do you want to just do it at the regular meeting?
We
It's
can do it
exact
in
same
that
dollar
change.
amount.
We can make that change at the next meeting.
All right, I just want to
But
make sure.
no, it's great that you're bringing it up now so that we
Yep.
make sure we get it.
But the dollars haven't changed on it, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll be good to get it in the right
Got 'em all?
box line.
No,
Okay.
but he told me.
Yep, yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. Are there any other comments, public comments? I do not see any, but we'll give it another. Please come on up again. And Bill, please state your name again.
Again, Bill Newton, 604 Black Oak Drive, Trail Creek. I'm not an economic guy, right? I'm an engineer. But, so if I look on page 5, right, and then about mid-page, it talks about drug and alcohol service, and then it lists that $187,965. So is that an effective number? I mean, is that like enough number, or is you just found this is a good number for us to go by, or how do you come up with these numbers? I guess that's what I'm saying.
I thought this was a state-funded number, but I could be corrected.
That fund in particular, I mean, imagine this is something that's carried on for many years and it's been increased over time. That fund in particular, I don't know the history of it, too new for that, but the auditor's
5908,
office might be able to
you
say.
got that?
Well, the 9508 is the state's number, but for us, it's the LAD's budget. So I think that's like 2502, without looking it up. But that department turns in a budget, and it's by the grant that they get, is my understanding.
Okay, so I guess my question is, how effective is this amount of money? Is it hitting the target? Is it doing what we want it to do, or is it falling way short, or, that's what I'm after.
Right.
You believe that's LAD's?
I think so, drug and alcohol and drug service. I would not know that answer. What he's asking is, does that make the department that's doing it, does that amount hit the goals that they are targeting?
So when we have budget hearings back in July, August, whenever we had them, each department comes before us and we have their budget broke down. And we
Okay.
go through there and we make cuts, or if there's an addition they need for something that's coming up. But
Okay.
so that's scrutinized every year.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, where do these numbers come from?
That's the number, that's where that number came from. So it
Okay.
includes personnel, different things and services, and whatever tests they have to have also.
Gotcha. All right, thank
So
you.
they really let the council know how much they need with what they want to do.
Right.
So I would like to think it's making their goals work, otherwise they would ask for something different.
Okay.
I'd like to think.
All right, thank you.
And all, if I may, all of those budget hearings where the detailed line items are talked about are on ALCO, accesslaportecounty.org. You can watch a day and a half's worth of hearings where each department has brought before this body.
You go to video on demands, and it's under there. And so now it's not going to break down every line item, but when they come before us, we'll go through, we look at the 200 and the 300 accounts, which is everything except for salaries. And we talk about those items to see if there's any place to cut or if there's anything they need changes in. But all those, I think, like you said, a day and a half of them are on there.
Sorry. I guess what I'm getting to is I know there's a deficit, okay, in the county. So it's like somewhere we're going to have to make up this money, right? So you're either going to have to raise taxes or somehow somebody's going to have to be a philanthropist and just throw money at this or whatever. I don't know how it all works, but so where does this money come from? So I always found out there's two ways to make money, right? You spend less or you make more. So what is it? So I guess that's the question.
That is the challenge before us, yeah.
Right.
So,
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
yeah, there's actually a third option as well, which is to shift expenditures to another area where there may be surplus revenue.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, seeing none. Close public hearing for the LaPorte County 2024 budget. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Well, do we
Or is there
adjourn, or
any-
do we just hold over, and are we going to have another
No.
budget meeting?
There's another one.
Yeah,
and it's
just
been
table,
advertised.
yeah.
Just a
Yeah, we
table.
have another meeting, so this is hold over
Budget
until
adoption on
just
the 30th.
before just before our regular meeting. We have the
so
a
it'll be
continuation of the hearing.
Continuation.
So a motion to
Motion to
continue?
suspend
To suspend.
Suspend
Motion to suspend.
till our next.
We have, or recess, I don't care.
Motion
Yeah.
to recess to the 30th of October at 6 p.m.
I think that
6 p.m. or 5:30?
5:45.
5:45.
5:40.
Whatever, say 5:30, and
Sometime between 5:30 and 6, all right?
we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
It hasn't been
Yeah.
set yet, that's why they're.
Well, okay. We are adjourned. Thank you. For those members of the public that came tonight and asked lots of good questions.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, no, we appreciate the challenge, too, you know, I mean, this is, I think,
We don't think there's anything funny going on, we just big dollar values with no breakdown.
Budget hearings are a good watch.